Okay, let's officially start this event. Thanks for joining us. My name is Amanda Luz. I am the Learning Programs Manager at People Powered. So good evening to all of you joining us from Asia. Good morning if you are in the United States, like me, or on the side of the globe. And good afternoon to those in Europe and Africa, like some of our speakers. You'll get to know them in a few minutes. Now, I would like to invite you all also, if we didn't have the chance yet, to please go to the chat here, tell us your name and where you're joining us from. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. And today, I'm very, very happy to moderate this webinar about our new digital participation online training. We are officially launching today, and this training is free and self-paced online training, and I hope you feel as excited as we are and sign up to access the courses at the end of the event. This event and the online training as well were developed in collaboration with our partner, Friedrich Naumann Foundation. We also had the support of our promotional partners here on the slide, as you can see. We thank all of them for their support. Yahweh will be representing our partner, Friedrich Naumann, and we are going to talk in a few minutes. So during this webinar, we'll cover the following topics. First, what are the digital participation platforms and why it's so relevant to learn more about them? The second topic is what are the benefits and challenges for digital participation with some case studies from Asia. Then we'll present the components of the training, how the courses can support you and your organization to achieve your goals. And in the end, we'll have some time for questions. So please write your questions in the chat. You can write in your language, and we're going to save them to the end of the session. Good morning, Antonio from Brazil. Bom dia. So, So joining us today, we have our speakers, Bess Lee, civic hacker in Taiwan, Katya Petrkiewicz from a participatory factory in the Czech Republic, Matt Stempak from the Civic Tech Field Guide in Portugal, Melissa Sisengue, our digital programs associate in Cape Town, and Yahweh Cho from Friedrich Naumann Foundation in Taiwan. Everybody's going to present in a bit. And the speakers today, they're deeply involved with our digital democracy work and resources at People Powered. If you don't know us, we are a global hub for participatory democracy composed by people and organizations who work together to promote and expand public participation in government decisions. So first, what do? We build pathways for policy change. We create communications, resources, training, and mentorship to help civil society organizations and governments to work together to develop policies that center their community needs. And second, how we do it. All this work that I just described, next slide, please, we do as a global community of practice with more than 100 organizations from across the world that are leading the participatory democracy work together. So enough about us. We want to hear from you. We have 2 questions now to assess what is your current knowledge about digital participation platforms. You see 2 short questions as a pop-up window or close to your chat window on WebEx. At the end of the webinar, we will assess your knowledge again. The first question is on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being low, 5 being expert. What is your current level of knowledge about digital participation platforms? So what is your current level of participation platforms? I'm going to speak slow for interpretation. And the second question is on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being low and 5 being high, what is your level of interest on receiving training about digital participation to support your current job roles or goals that you have in your organization? So the second question is about your level of interest about the training. We can stay here for a few minutes. If you want to tell me in the chat that you're able to respond to questions, I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for answering the chat too. You should see a poll. Hopefully you can respond at the poll. And I'm hoping that you're also very interested in learning about the training. We're going to tell you more about that. Sorry, Sarah, that you don't see the poll. Someone from our team can perhaps send you a message. All right, I think we can start the session. As you try to answer the poll, we can leave the poll open for a little bit more. But I'd like us to go to the next slide, please. And I'll invite Matt to finally present the relevance of digital participation platforms to us. Please, Matt.
Thank you, Amanda. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Stempek. I worked with People Powered to write a guide to digital participation platforms, and we had a lot of help and input from this global community to create that guide. And for the past 7 years, I've been building the Civic Tech Field Guide, which is basically a huge collection of all the different participatory democracy projects all around the world. And people use it to find platforms and see how others are using them. So you can share the work you're doing there. I'll put the link in the chat. But today we're here to talk about this course on learning about digital participation platforms. So why do we want to learn about them? Well, I mean, put simply, digital participation platforms, if they're done right, give us more opportunity to say and even act on what we want to see for our communities. So if you're a citizen or just a member of a community, digital participation platforms let us weigh in more frequently. And usually they let us participate in ways that our traditional political institutions don't always ask of us. You might only have a chance to vote every so often. And even then, the options on the ballot might not feel super relevant to your life. But a digital participation platform might let you directly change the things you care about, like voting to fund a project through participatory budgeting, or helping organize a project in your community at the street level. So 3 of the benefits for you as a participant on a digital participation platform, and these are backed by peer-reviewed research. They include gaining civic skills that you can use in other arenas, including leadership skills, a better understanding of your own rights and duties, and people report stronger ties to their community, even through digital platforms. And new research on similar online engagement platforms has found that participants report more feelings of hope for the future and come away with a stronger sense of efficacy. Efficacy is the feeling that you're effective, that you can make the change that you want to see in the world. So it makes sense that seeing things change because of your actions boosts that feeling, right? And now if you're on this call and you're an elected official, or you're someone inside an institution and you want to better engage your constituency, digital participation platforms make it much easier to do that. They let you reach larger numbers of people than traditional formats like a public meeting, and they structure public input. So it's more focused and more constructive for improving decision making. Because it's easier to run digital participation processes than before, you and your team can do them more frequently. And by doing that, you're creating a more open, feedback savvy culture. So if you're inside of government or another institution with a constituency, the research shows that opening up decision-making power can help you more directly address the needs of underserved or hard to reach communities and actually create more effective public services because you're including people's opinions and perspectives in your problem solving. They also give participants higher confidence in and satisfaction with local governance, which is a great thing. So why do we need guidance about digital participation platforms? I think 2 big reasons. First, there are a lot of them. This is a booming area of civic tech development, which is great, but the platforms aren't all the same maturity level product. Some are prototypes, some are very sophisticated, have been around for years. They offer different selling points. Some only operate in certain geographic parts of the world, and others are designed to work with specific types of political systems. So some platforms also encourage more public accountability of government than others do. The second reason we want to share this guide and course on how to choose a platform is if you're inside of a government or another large institution, your tech environment might be complicated. So maybe you don't have any software developers on your team, and you could really benefit from a software as a service sort of web subscription model where the company handles the security updates for you automatically. Or maybe you do have a great tech team and you'd prefer to use an open source solution where you can customize all the modules exactly how you or your community want them. With People Powered, we heard a distinct desire for guidance on when and how to select, set up, and run participatory democracy programs through digital platforms. And this field is advancing rapidly, which is great. But if we want to know where we're going, it really helps to have a map. This course is that map. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate how you introduced us to some possible uses of digital participation platforms and the importance of guidance to overcome challenges and also maximize the potential for participation, because that's a great segue to Bess. Yes, Bess, who presents some of the benefits and challenges using case studies from Asia. Bess, can you please mute yourself?
Okay. Hello, I'm basically from Taiwan and currently based in Japan. Over the past years, I have been working closely with the civic tech and the GovTech communities in both Taiwan and Japan. So collaborating with many to find the most practical methods and tools. Today, I want to share some of cases with you all and hope it might be some help. So some of you might know that in Japan, citizens might not be as excited about elections, but people are trying to change that. The digital platform we are discussing now is one of the tools that have started using to engage more citizens. In recent years, the GovTech community in Japan has been rapidly growing. Various platforms are being developed and utilized, such as administrative systems and issue discussion platforms and various tools to facilitate discussions. There are even communities emerging to continuously promote these efforts. Now, many local governments started to using discussion platforms even before elections. This ensures that major local policies are not just a few simple choices, but involve citizens in the conversation, letting them discuss the future they envision. And digital platforms play a key role to facilitating this engagement. Also, on the other hand, in Taiwan, and traditional education system might no longer be sufficient to prepare students for the rapidly changing modern society. So as a result, many contributors within Taiwan civic tech communities, besides hosting events, have started to utilize the digital platforms and the tools they excel at to help students envision their future. And specifically, we can place open educational resources on these digital platforms, even if it's just some text, images, and videos. They are valuable resources outside of the traditional school setting. So when we truly want to kickstart all of this, what are the potential challenges we face? There are three main points: ethics and transparency, technically considerations, and capacity requirements. The latter two, being more technical in nature, should be relatively straightforward to understand. However, when it comes to ethics and transparency, I must say we might spend the most time on this aspect. That's because every country can have a completely different perspective on this matter, and ensuring comprehensive satisfaction for everyone is not is no easy task. So I think step-by-step guidance is needed when selecting and setting up and running a process. Training can be a great opportunity for people to avoid the challenges when starting a participatory process to a digital platform. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. So you in the audience who is an advocate, policymaker, community member, professional in general, who wants to make an effective use of the digital participation platforms, also hearing what Beth and Matt just said. Now's the time to hear what Melissa prepared to us about our training and how can we support you to know more about digital participation platforms. Please, Melissa, go ahead.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks. Welcome, everyone. So just to get into our course material now, our training program comes with 5 units focused on digital participation, and these are all on the learning platform. The units include Welcome to the Digital Participation Online Training, which is an introductory course itself. And then it's followed by Why Does Digital Participation Matter, which Matt briefly touched on. And then it's also followed by a course on how to select a digital participation platform. As Matt mentioned earlier, there's a lot of them out there and it can be confusing, so some guidance is needed. And then that's also followed by a course on how to set up a digital participation platform. So once you've selected one, where do you go from there? And then the last one focuses on how to run a participatory program through the digital participation platform that you have selected. And then we have also outlined some training goals to help you understand what you should be able to do by the end of the program. So this includes identifying the needs, the key benefits and approaches for public participation through digital participation platforms to run more inclusive, equitable, and effective participatory programs. So you should also be able to identify the initial steps to choose, set up, and use the digital participation platform for public participation by using the guide that Matt mentioned earlier and the digital participation ratings that People Powered has developed. You should also be able to select the digital participation platform based on your specific needs and context. So the course takes you through a lot of assignments and tasks to help you figure out what is your specific context and what are your participatory needs. And you should also be able to develop an initial proposal with directions to implement or use the digital participation platform for public participation and deliberation, considering the specific needs and context and your community needs. And then you should also be able to discuss, the possibility for digital participation that can be potentialized through digital participation platforms with other learners and other people interested in digital participation, because we want to keep the conversation going. And then who is this training for? The training is for everyone really, but we've outlined these 3 main audience: government officials, policymakers, and staff who want to run or who have been running a participatory program through digital participation platforms. Civil society organizations and non-governmental organization staff as well who want to promote, start, or expand public participation in their communities through digital participation, through digital platforms. It's also for advocates, innovators, community leaders, and even political party officials who want to promote democratic practices through digital participation. And then finally, how do we at People Powered support you throughout this training program? Well, the program is actually self-paced and action-oriented, which includes multimedia content and resources, discussion forums, quizzes, and assignments. And you can take the course anytime that suits you. And these activities are designed to help you stay engaged in the course while learning the important information about digital participation with other people from around the world. And then finally, the training is available in 5 different languages: English, traditional Chinese, Spanish, French, and Portuguese. And now back to you, Amanda. Thanks.
Thanks, Melissa. So Melissa just setting the ground of what the training is about. And before we go to a demonstration of the course, I'd like to invite Katya to present more about what is the main curricular resource that we are using for this training. As I said before, our resources are created by a community, not just by me and Melissa. So in other words, I want Katya, who was part of the development of the guide and also the ratings, to present to us what is the content of this training.
Thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you so much for all the previous speakers. It's really great to have this opportunity to share the outcomes of our shared work. And it has already been said that the Guide to Digital Participation Platforms is primarily authored by Matt, but it's also a collective work of the whole global community of people powered. And so it has the collective knowledge and best practices that come from all of the experts around the world, which I think is extremely valuable, because oftentimes we laser focus on one particular region and on one particular area in the world that provides tech solutions, forgetting that there's a huge variety and all around the world. And speaking more concretely, the Digital Participation Guide basically looks into general information about the questions that you need to have an answer to before you even start doing digital participation. So it discusses such points as when do you actually need to use digital tools and what kind of processes and what kind of projects it can be suitable for. It obviously looks into how do you choose the best suited tool, what kind of metrics you need to look into, and how do you set a baseline for assessing whether the use of digital tools was successful or not, because that's extremely important to understand that sometimes the way we use digital tool is not really having an end goal or an end vision of what we actually want to achieve with it. And so the guide helps you to understand what's the end result that you want to have with the civic tech tools. It also looks into the key features of the civic tech tools, what kind of things they're capable of facilitating. And since it's based on this collective knowledge of the global community, it also has lessons learned from users around the world to help you prevent certain mistakes that we might do by ourselves. But if we know how others dealt with them, we can actually preemptively move away from them. And it also offers some other practical resources that could guide you select and implement the digital participation tool. And another part of this digital resource center provided by People Powered is the ratings of the civic tech platforms. Can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So if the guide looks into the hows and do's and don'ts of looking into digital participation, the ratings provide a look into the platforms themselves. It's a second iteration of the ratings. The first time the committee looked into 27 most prominent, widely used platforms in the world. This round, we have evaluated 32 digital participation platforms. And instead of focusing on just the expertise of the Civic Tech Committee, we also engaged the broader community of People Powered, the 6 civic tech experts, but also included platform users, and altogether worked with over 400 inputs, again, from people who actually have practical experiences with those platforms. So the platforms were mapped by the broader community, and the committee shortlisted the ones that we looked in depth into, and we evaluated them on 6 different metrics that you can actually use to guide your choices of the most suitable platforms. The metrics that we assessed were connected to the costs and additional costs that might be hidden under the hood of actually implementing the platform. We also looked into what kind of capacities are required to successfully implement and run the digital participation platform, what kind of features the platform provides, what is the level of accessibility, not only in terms of language, but also for example, people with disability or for areas that have low penetration of the internet or some other technical potential problems. And obviously, we looked into such questions in ethics and transparency that the platforms adhere to, and the track record and reliability to look into what stage of development civic tech platforms are at and how many clients they previously worked with. So depending on your needs, you and limitations of your project or your budget or your skill sets and the requirements that you might have, you can look into these ratings and try to see which platforms would suit you best in comparison with others. And so these resources serve as an essential stepping stone in understanding the digital participation environment. It provides you with a wealth of knowledge, not coming just from a few experts, but from a broader international community of other practitioners of participation, but also actual users of those platforms. And it also gives you a look into the best practices and existing solutions, so you don't have to burn your resources on coming up with those. And this eventually is a great instrument for you to develop core expertise, learn how to plan to do digital participation, and also choose the one and prepare to use it effectively. And with this, I'll pass on the word back to Amanda. Thank you.
Thanks, Katya. I love how the guide and ratings, they're combined in incredible resources. But we mapped some of questions like the ones that you were sending in the chat and also when you registered. And for us, it was very good opportunity to develop a training that gives a step-by-step guidance for people with different knowledge about digital participation platforms. If you're a novice, you're very experienced, to understand in depth how you can use and also have the help of other learners to support you to avoid challenges and potentialize the benefits, as everybody is saying today. Let's go to the next slide, because then Melissa will share more details about what is the structure of the training, what are the courses, and finally have a demonstration of how we can use and also enroll. Let's go, Melissa.
Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, so what is the structure of the program? What kind of journey will it take you on? So the participants will start their journey with learning about digital participation platforms. Then they go on to identify the potential of digital participation for their communities. And then they go on to learn about selecting the best suited platforms for their own context, considering the criteria that Katya just spoke about, including things like cost, features, capacities, and such. And then they go on to learn about setting up that platform, and then ending with an initial proposal to run a participatory process through a digital platform. And now we're just going to show you a quick demonstration of what the training will look like from your perspective. Welcome to the People-Powered Learning Management System. This is where our digital participation online training is hosted. Our course is designed for self-paced learning, which means you decide when and where you want to learn. The course is available in English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and traditional Chinese. When you take the course, you'll be motivated through various activities, including gamification features. You will earn badges and points as you progress, turning your learning journey into a rewarding experience. All the videos included in the training course come with subtitles, meaning you can select the language you prefer. Throughout the training, you reflect on your learning journey through prompts and assignments that challenge and inspire you. Our training is also equipped with discussion forums to encourage peer learning and to build a global community interested in meaningful and inclusive digital participation. We hope you are ready to start your learning journey and you can enroll in our digital participation online training today and learn how to start engaging your community through digital participation. Thank you for that. Yeah, so now that we have spoken about how the training will look like for you, what will you get at the end of the training? Well, at the end of the training, you will get an initial proposal for running your participatory program through a digital participation platform. So the training leads you through a step-by-step toward planning that initial proposal. You complete a set of assignments through the course and compile them for your proposal that you can further work on for running your own program. And then you also get a participation certificate after you complete all the units and you submit all the final assignments in Unit 5. And that certificate will be automatically shown to you at the end, and you can download it onto your device and you can revisit it later on onto the certificates page. And that's it from me. Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Melissa. So yeah, we believe that the training is just a first step that you can use in your journey to expand public participation in government decisions in your community, region, or country. And because of that, I'm going to invite Yahweh, our partner, to discuss other opportunities and possibilities to take after the course. Go, Yahweh.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you I want to firstly thank Amanda for she worked many very super early mornings, and Melissa for working at I take away a lot of lunchtime from her, and thank you for creating this training. And also I want to thank Matt, Katia, Bess for creating the rating and the guide before, so we can have this really good training. Yep. So just like what Amanda just introduced, my name is Yahweh, and I'm the program manager of Freaking Nauman Foundation's Global Innovation Hub in Taipei. We are really honored to support this online training because it really aligns with the goal of our office and the foundation, which is to discover ideas for innovation for democracy. And just to introduce a little bit about our foundation, the Freaking Human Foundation was founded in 1958, and our headquarters is located in Germany, but we work with partners around the world for almost more than 60 countries. And we moved the Global Innovation Hub from Hong Kong to Taiwan in 2021. And we hope we can work with more partners around the world to discover the ideas for innovation for democracy. So political foundation like us, we definitely aware of the fast growing speed of technology developments, but because of our essence of being a political foundation, what we care about is whether technology can really become a helping force for people to participate in the decision making of the government or any kinds of public participation. And we really care about how to transfer the fruits of technology development into something that everybody can use for democracy. But at the same time, we don't want technology capacity become a kind of bar that exclude anyone who are not good at technology. And we also want our country leaders, government officials, and the civil society to have a really realistic understanding about technology, which is we shouldn't imagine any technology can be a peninsula, an ultimate solution for everything. So I think that's why the digital participation platform online training that People Power developed is so important, because it's just like what Matt has said, it provides a very comprehensive roadmap, but from the perspective of practitioners, and it's very practical and comprehensive. So I think it provides you a realistic framework that you can understand. First of all, check the capacity of your organization before you go digitalization. And it reminds you of the importance of cybersecurity, and also encourage you to try open source platforms. And it even offer evaluation of the most of the digital participation platforms around the world. I think this is a really important guide for democracy advocates, because for me, who have been working in democracy advocacy organizations for many years, I really find myself difficult to find any user-friendly technology guide. And I think this online training is really providing connections, a bridge that guides me toward understanding more digital tools. But the language it uses is really user friendly. So I really appreciate that. And it completely developed through the daily scenario of practitioners. And I think that's something really I cherish very much. So I really invite you, no matter you are a civil society member, or you are local government officials, or you are people who working in the central government, but you still want to search for some platforms to engage in more people for your decision making, that I do encourage you to try out this online platform, because it helps you to think out of many kinds of options, and it gives you a really systematic framework to think about what is the best digital strategy for you. So just come and try the training, and I hope you can learn more and discover more from the training itself and also our colleagues from People Power. Thank you.
Thank you, Yahweh. So yes, we have been very excited, and it has been a great partnership to work with you and with the Friedrich Naumann Foundation to develop this course. And I hope more people can join us and enroll. So let's go to the next section, very important portion of our presentation today. So how we can enroll on this course right now, basically. Next slide. First, our colleagues will send the link in the chat, and you can open this link. You can click there to be redirected to our People Power training platform, specifically the homepage for the digital participation platforms course. Although the homepage, the first that you see is in English, you can click on your preferred language at the top of the screen to see the homepage translated. And second, you can click on sign up, also on the right corner of your window, to create your account and then create your account. It will take less than 2 minutes to start your journey from here. And that's it. So let's go to the next slide. We are going to present a little bit more how to sign up for the online training. Let's go to the demonstration. That's a tutorial. You can click on sign up and then add your name, your information. It's very easy. And again, you also can see our policy for data. It's just related to the courses, but you can check once you log in too. Yeah, so thank you. Now we have a few minutes, not a few, we have 20 minutes more or less to address your questions that you sent to us when you registered, and also in the chat. We will also gladly answer questions that you may have later by email, but let's open this to have our speakers. We can stop sharing the slide if possible. And let's go to some of the questions. I want to first address a question that was sent to us at the time of the registration. There's a very simple one that I'm going to send directly to Melissa. It's basically, is the course open to anyone from anywhere in the world? Will participants have unlimited access to all the features of the app? Melissa?
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. Yes, the quick answer is yes. The course is publicly available for free to everyone and anyone in anywhere in the world who is interested in digital participation. And participants will have unlimited access to the training platform. They can take the courses when and wherever they want. However, we must note the training does not provide subscriptions or plans for the listed digital participation platforms included in the course.
Okay. Now, we received a lot of questions, which is great, and I'm going to try to join them into clusters of questions sent to our speakers. There's the next one that I'd like to address. I'm going to join 3 questions. One, so how do we put people first before technology? That's the main one. And then other ones are, which tools, approaches, strategies are best when encouraging the non-tech savvy or digital newcomers to engage? Also, how can we engage rural communities who lack the knowledge to use digital platforms or engage linguistic minorities? Basically 5 questions in one. But the main question, how do we people first? We put people first before technology. Matt, Baz, or Katya, who wants to go first?
I can just jump in. It's a great 5 questions. And first of all, I would highly recommend checking out the guide and the course, because we address this in more detail than we'll have time to right now. But some ideas include talking to people before you choose the technology. That includes people in your community and people internally. I think one of the mistakes that often gets made is choosing a participation platform, getting a lot of great participation, and then not being sure where it connects internally. So I think just talking to people, that can be formal, like user testing groups, that can also be informal chatting. Katya?
Yeah, I wanted to give a suggestion of, whenever thinking about this question, and this is what we work with when we work with government, oftentimes people come and just say, we want to do digital for the sake of doing digital. So my first suggestion is to start with the process and to start with the specific project that you have in mind, and understand who is going to be affected by it and who those people exactly are, and try to meet them where they're at, which comes with 2 things. The very first one, I'm trying to cover as many questions as possible. The very first part is to provide people with learning opportunities. Like, a lot of people do have digital literacy skills, but if you have certain resources, or you have centers, or I've heard about the learning buses in Colombia from one of our colleagues, where there was a bus with the computers or laptops installed, and people could walk in and actually learn how to use it. So that's one of the ways to go about it. But also, if you know that a lot of the people who are going to be affected by the specific process do not use tech or are not comfortable, it's always good to come up with the alternative and have it in a hybrid format. But with this, obviously, comes other challenges, making sure that those 2 things happening in parallel actually intersect and it makes sense, that the data from the in-person process and the digital process actually converges at some point, and one process informs the other.
So I'm going to go for the next question, and then Bas, I can start with you and Katya too. Thanks, Katya and Matt. Next question is there any free platform you recommend for active participatory processes in Asia or Latin America? We receive for Latin America, but I think we can go for different regions. Is there any free platform you recommend? And don't want to put you in the spot, Baz. We can also put send to Katya if you prefer.
I'm going to start from saying that maybe we should shift from thinking that certain platforms are completely free, because there are certain costs associated with running a platform either way. Like, the very first idea that comes to mind is looking towards open source kind of platforms. Again, it's going really depend on the process and the needs that you have, like what kind of features you have, what kind of functionalities, what's the scope. But however, open source also comes at cost, because you do have to configure it. You do have to have certain level of expertise and IT knowledge to actually set it up and make sure that it's running well. So if you do have those internal capacities within your team, or you yourself have this knowledge, then this is something that I would definitely look into. But again, just to move away from this idea, like, oh, if it's free without meaning that you don't have to purchase it, it doesn't mean that it's completely free, because there are some other costs associated with it.
Yes, and we encourage you to take the course so you can also see the ratings and how to choose the best platform for your needs and your goals too. Thanks, Katya. Now, I think I have another cluster that is related to digital technology and citizen participation. So how can we exploit the opportunities offered by digital technology to better structure citizen participation? I think this would be great, Yahweh, or I think it's related to opportunities that we can use with digital participation platforms. If Yahweh and Bass could lead this one. Yahweh.
Yes, you want to go first or me? Oh, I'll just start. I think I observe a kind of a trend that we just like what I presented previously. I think there is a need to be more and more people play the role as the bridge between the circle of technology and democracy advocates and practitioners, because I've observed that um, practitioner and democracy advocates are really good at leading the democratic discussions, and they're very good at the theory and also engage with people, but they might don't have the resource to get involved in a very user-friendly technology circle, and that's I think what we need. We need more people to play this role, because um, I really think that, like, take me and my brother for example. The knowledge will not really come to your mind if you don't have someone play the role as your mentors, to be with you, to guide you, to lead you to learn how to really understand what my digital strategy could be. And also for engineers who design platforms, if you don't send someone who might be an advocate or a opinion leader in the community, the engineer wouldn't know the platform he designed really fits the needs of these practitioners. But I think we need more people, like, for example, the civic tech communities around the world has really playing the really essential role for that. And I hope maybe a government and the civil society member, and also people in the technology circle can be more open-minded to we should have more interdiscipline opportunities or platform to put these people all together. Then they can know each other's expertise, and they can know that how they can collaborate together to create more opportunities for enhancing people's participation.
Baz, would you like to follow up on Yahweh? How
I just want to like give you some simple suggestion about, like, how can we explore the opportunities of a digital technology. So I think it's not easy to find good digital platforms in Asia, as before we have a question about how can we find our solution in Asia. I think it's not so many, so I think we should like encourage more people to get more involved in the digital platform. So if we do that, we could have more opportunities or more resources to encourage more developers to join the development of digital platforms. So I think in Taiwan and Japan, and digital platforms are still need to be to like invite more people to join. So I think the most important thing is we can like encourage more people to join this and use the digital platforms with the people in our region. And that's all.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. I like how you bring the perspective of using digital platforms, not just to engage public participation places where this already exists, but also to advocate for more. Thanks for bringing this perspective too. I would like to go to Melissa now, because I see some of questions related to what is happening after the training. So you have the training, what happens in the end, and how people power or other organizations support you after the training. Melissa, can you take this one?
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, at the end of the training, after you've completed the training, you have developed an initial proposal for a participatory project using digital participation. You can use that proposal to engage stakeholders, and you can use that to apply for funding. For example, Katja mentioned working within a government. So for example, if you need funding for the participatory program, you can use that proposal to apply for that funding, and you can use that for other goals that you may have identified during your the training journey. But in terms of support, you can also sign up for mentorship. People Powered Supports provides mentorship, and we'll match you with a mentor who can help you with the sort of thing you're interested in. And you can also stay tuned on our platforms and newsletter for any other new opportunities. And I think in the next month, we will also be available to assist you when you're taking the course. So if you have any technical questions or just content questions, we'll be there to assist you. Yeah.
Yes. Also, during the course, you see different content about how you can create participatory process. That's something that we can support too. As in tech, it depends, of course, the app that you choose, but we can help you with the course in the next few months. The course is already available. For those who are leaving now, the course is available. We are going to repeat again the QR code and how to enroll. And you don't have a limited time to use it. You can, it's self-paced, it's open to all. Please share with your network too. I think last one, I'd like to have Matt and Katya. There's this question about how can we use digital platforms, participation platforms to in grassroots programs with people that don't have access to smartphone, or communities that basically the great divide, and how we can include more people when not everybody else is participating digitally on that.
Thank you so much for the question. And I think I can just reiterate that what I already said. I think what's important in this kind of cases is to think about potential alternatives that you can have to make sure that you have a hybrid process that includes both people who do have access to technology and who don't. And in case the process has to be done online for whatever reason, there are also quite a lot of different ways to go about it. You can, for example, set up digital stations where people can walk in and they can get trained on how to use the tool, and they can have assistance of someone who actually knows how to manage the platform and a tech tool. Let's say if it's a digital voting, you can have a person, I don't know, a good example is New York City participatory budgeting, where people were voting on digital platform, but they could do it on the street because there were volunteers standing there with iPads, and people could do it with the assistants. Another good example I think worth looking into is Glasgow participatory budgeting, with a focus on people with disabilities. And during this process, the local associations provided people with iPads and basic training on how to use them and how to use the digital participation tools and do other basic things online, like connecting to online conferences. So I think it's a combination of different things. And I'm gonna pass it on to Matt.
Thanks. Yeah, I agree with everything Kasia said. And I'll just add, there's also a model of an ambassador program. So platforms like Kenya's Kijiji YouTube platform set up a whole, hundreds of ambassadors that go out to different villages in Kenya to kind of do like that in-person thing, but on an ongoing, sustained basis. And you'll also notice in the rankings, some of the platforms have a explicit ability for you to upload that offline engagement to the platform. So it's all integrated with all the online engagement and kind of all in the same place. But yeah, you can have a lot of fun with meeting people in person, and some of the groups we profiled have very creative ways of reaching people in public spaces. And lastly, I'm blanking now. Okay, well, I'll stop there.
Thanks, Matt. Yes, some of those cases actually are in the course, because also Matt and Katja were part of the content development of the guide and the ratings. So please, use the training to know more case studies about women in participation. We got some questions about that too, and rural communities and case studies that can hopefully help you address what are your needs and goals at the moment. Also, I see in the chat some people already interacting with each other. That's exactly how it will be in the training. You have discussion forums. It will be a great opportunity for you to also exchange knowledge and experience with other people around the world as well. So thank you again for sending us so many relevant questions. Next slide, please. You can also send questions to us by email later. We are going to share the address in a moment, but here's the QR code and the link again. If you didn't sign up yet for the training, please share it with your network, share with everyone in your team, organizations that you think will be interested in using that. You don't have to have experience working with that. And we are going to follow up, especially in the next few weeks with an instructor. Later on, this will be just self-paced, but it's a self-paced course with a community that is going to be building and working with you as well. Next slide, please. We have just a few minutes. Again, we really care about your feedback and our knowledge assessment of you, about the webinar, where you are now. And when the webinar ends, there will be a pop-up window with a few more questions. So we're going to end at least 1 minute before, so you can have the time to provide your feedback to us. It's not going to take a lot of time. This is very important to us. Next slide. And yeah, so thank you. This is the link, program team at not the link, sorry, the email, program team at peoplepowered.org. If you still have questions on how to sign up and about the content as well, we'll be happy to help you. Thanks for joining us again. Thanks. I want to thank you, all the speakers. I want to thank you, all of you who joined from different countries. I saw some people joining very early. Please respond to the survey, sign up, and be connected with us for more updates and opportunities related to this content and also other opportunities as well. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a good day, good evening, and that's it. Please respond to the survey. Thank you.